Hi, in this video demonstration, I'm going to show you how to nail your focus and exposure using the basic tools in the camera. Okay, so the very first thing we are going to do, right, is we're going to click on the function button. So, in order to set the exposure mode, when you're in a movie mode, you have to use the function to access the exposure mode. So these are the movie exposure mode. Okay, so we're going to click on it. Then you can see that there's the program auto exposure mode and so on. Now, for most of the times, right, we recommend that you use program auto exposure mode. The camera will determine the aperture and shutter speed, and you only need to focus and frame. So let me go back. So other settings that you want to ensure, right, is the ISO should be auto. Okay, modern cameras are very good at determining the ISO. Okay, so we just let the camera do the work. Okay, another one is the white balance. I'm going to set it to auto white balance. Okay, so most of the time it should be auto white balance unless you really want to customize the white balance. Okay, another setting is the focus area. It should be white focus area. Okay, most of the time it should be white focus area, especially when you're using it with face detection. Okay, so basically when you're in white focus area mode, the camera will use the whole image size to determine correct focus using their own algorithm. Okay, most of the time it will be an object that is nearest to the camera. The next thing that you need to set is to make sure that the focus mode is in AFC, autofocus continuous, or continuous autofocus. Okay, so when we are filming videos, we should always be using continuous autofocus because videos are moving visuals, so the focus can change rather than fixed. Okay, now let me just go back to, let me just set this to AFC. Okay, then let me go back to function. Okay, I just want to show you for the advanced users, right, how you can use the manual exposure. Okay, so let's switch to manual exposure. So when you're in manual exposure, right, you have to determine your own aperture and shutter speed. Okay, so how do you do that? Basically, let's look at the camera in this manner. Okay, so there's a front dial here. This front dial will set the aperture. Okay, you can see the aperture is shifting. The back dial here will set the shutter speed. Okay, so please only use this if you really know what you're doing. So for now, I'm going to set the program exposure mode into back to program auto. Okay, so we let the camera determine the aperture and shutter speed for us. So these are the basic settings. Okay, next we are going to check on the face detection. So go to menu, and then under the camera 1 group, okay, go to AF2, which is page 6. Look for face eye autofocus set. Then the settings should be on. You want to turn on face detection and eye detection. And then, by the way, in video only the face detection will work. Okay, the eye detection only works in photography for this camera. Okay, then for subject detection, we will select human. Okay, most of the time it's human, but you can also change to animal. Then for face detection frame display, right, it is, if you have reset the camera, it will be off. Okay, so make sure you turn it on. Okay, so when this is on, we will see a box on the human face that it has detected. Okay, so this is very useful. Okay, the animal eye display, we can just leave it as on. Okay, so so once again, it's on, human, on. So once we have set ready, let me demonstrate to you how the face detection works. Okay, I'm going to leave the camera here. Okay, I'm going to come over to the front of the camera. Let me go to the widest angle. Okay, so you can see that there is a bounding box around my face. So this is face detection. All right. Let's continue. Okay, next we are going to the menu again. We're going to movie 2 menu. Okay, this is movie 1, then we're going to movie 2. Then we are going to check on the AF drive speed and AF track sensitivity. Now, for AF drive speed, right, most of the time it will be normal. Okay, what exactly is AF drive speed? Basically, it controls the speed of the focus change from one subject to another. Okay, for example, like it's just like red focusing from one flower to another flower. So most of the time it should be normal. Okay, but if you are using the camera with a gimbal, right, then maybe you want to switch to fast. For now, we're going to leave it as normal. Okay, then for AF track sensitivity, right, it's recommended that you change to responsive. Okay, so we want the AF to track any change in the autofocus quickly. Okay, so we want responsive. Next, I'm going to show you how to use different focus area. So to get to the focus area menu, just press the C2 shortcut key. Okay, it's over here. Then you will see again white, zone, center, flexible spot, and then expand flexible spot. Okay, we're going to set it as white first. Okay, like I say, most of the time we're going to use white focus area, and then the camera will use its own algorithm, autofocus algorithm, to determine the autofocus automatically. Most of the time it will be a subject that's nearest to the camera. And then of course, if it detects a face, the face detection will take over. Now, when you're in the white focus area, right, you can temporarily suspend the autofocus, okay, by touching the screen. Okay, so for example, I want it to focus on the bottle here. Okay, I can touch the bottle. Okay, now you can see the spot focus has been turned on. If I want to change maybe let me touch the foreground. So you can see the focus is on the foreground. And then let me touch the iMac. Okay, so now the focus has shifted to the iMac. Alright, one more time. Yeah. So to cancel, we can touch this area here to cancel. Or another way, right, to cancel, right, is to press the set button. So I can press here to turn it off. Now, if you don't want to enable the spot focus, right, okay, sometimes you will touch the screen accidentally, okay, and then you don't want to turn on this feature, you can simply toggle the trash can button, okay, to turn off touch operation. Okay, so now the spot focus is not working. Now, and to turn it back on, I just need to toggle the trash can button again. Okay, so now we have the spot focus. Okay, let me cancel this. So now I'm going to show you how to use the flexible spot. Okay, I'm going to press on the C2 shortcut key again. Okay, then we're going to change to flexible spot. I'm going to keep it as M size. You can click left or right to change the size. I'm going to keep it as medium. Okay, so now we are in the flexible spot focus area. Okay, so unlike the white focus area, you can see there's a spot here with the bounding box. Okay, so now you have to touch the screen to determine where you want to be in focus. You have to touch the screen to determine where you want to be in focus. Again, let me show you. This is the foreground. This is the iMac foreground. And then this is the iMac. So this is flexible spot. Touch screen using flexible spot. You can also use expand flexible spot. Next, I'm going to show you the center lock on AF. Okay, I'm going to go to menu, go to AF2. Then you can find center lock on AF. So what is center lock on AF? Basically, if you think about it, face detection, right, and is for track human faces or animal faces. Then how about inanimate object? For example, like the sanitizer bottle in front of me. So we can use center lock on AF to do this. So we're going to turn it on. Then I'm going to select the object. I'm going to zoom it in so that you can see this more clearly. Okay, I'm going to place the sanitizer bottle in the middle. Okay, then I'm going to click on the set button to select the bottle. So now you can see there's a double box. So now our object is being tracked. Even if I move out of the image, it will, and then I return to it, it will still be tracked. Okay, so this is center lock on AF, usually for tracking object. To turn it off, you just click on the set button again. But now I'm going to go back and then I'm going to turn this feature off. Next, I'm going to show you how to use manual focusing. Now, autofocus in modern cameras are becoming very good. However, there are times when you may want to use manual focus. For example, I'm filming this video demonstration in manual focus. Okay, if you didn't realize. How do we use manual focus? Now, remember, manual focus is a more advanced technique. It's not really meant for genres like documentary where you don't know where the subject is going to stand up, going to move, and so on. Okay, so you may need to use more autofocus on that. Okay, but let's say you are filming scripted and you know all the blocking and or maybe like interview where you know that your subject is not going to move, then you may want to switch to manual focus for full control. Okay, so to change the focus mode, okay, we're going to press the C3 button, the shortcut key. Now it's in AFC, continuous AF. Okay, I'm going to change to manual focus. Now that we're in the manual focus, we have to use the focus ring. Okay, we have to use the focus ring to control the focus. Okay, but if you just turn the focus ring by itself, it's very hard to really tell the focus. Okay, so I'm going to introduce you to some tools that can assist us. Okay, the first is called picking. Okay, let me just turn off the focus. Let me turn back the focus area to white. Now, let me show you where to find picking. Okay, go to menu and then go to Cam 1 group. Then go to page 13. And then picking setting. Okay, so you want to see the picking, you have to turn it on. Okay, then the picking level that you can choose low, medium or high. This is your personal preference. Okay, usually you will use either maybe medium or high. And let me just show you high so that you can see clearly. Okay, then picking color, there's 3 options, red, yellow and white. Generally, I prefer red color so that it's clearer. Some people prefer white. So let me just use red for now. Then, as you can see, when I turn the focus ring, okay, you can see that now the bottle is in focus because of the picking. Okay, can you see? Usually the edges, the outline, has this red, is highlighted in these red pixels to show you that the area is in focus. Okay, so if I change, now you can see the iMac is in focus instead. Okay, let me change back. Okay, so now the bottle is in focus. Okay, next I'm going to show you another tip, and this will really help you to nail your focus manually. Go back to the menu, and then in the same page, look for focus magnifier. There's 2 settings here. The focus magnification time, you should use no limit. It's easier to use no limit. Initial focus magnification, we want it to be as close as possible, so I'm going to use times 5.9 times. I'm going to set to this. Now I'm going to press the shutter button to go back to the shooting mode, and let me demonstrate to you how to use the focus magnification. All you need to do is just double tap on the area that you want to focus. So I'm going to double tap on the sanitizer bottle so you can see. Then I just use the focus ring to focus on the sanitizer bottle. Can you see? It's so much easier when you zoom in. Once you are focused already, so you can double tap again to go back to the original image size, and then now you can film. The other tool that I want to introduce is called the Zebra. Yeah, and this Zebra is commonly used by a lot of professionals. Okay, so to go to Zebra setting, we're going to go to Cam 2 setting and then go to page number 6. Okay, you can find the Zebra setting here. Of course, you have to turn it on to use it. And then for the Zebra level, the recommendation is to use 100 plus. Okay, what is 100 plus? It means that when anything is overexposed, you can see the ceiling light is overexposed. So this is over 100 in terms of IRE level. But usually we can ignore the ceiling lights. I mean, if you see zebra lines in the lights, right, I mean, we can usually ignore it. What's most important, right, is that your subject and the foreground has no zebra line, so they are properly exposed. We see zebra line in other non-important areas like the ceiling lights, we can usually ignore it. And the very last thing that I want to introduce to you, right, is the exposure compensation. Okay, a lot of time beginners make this mistake. They accidentally turn the exposure compensation down on the top right corner here. So if I turn this to +1, means now the image is actually one stop brighter. You can see the +1.0 here as well. So make sure you always double check. Okay, since we are in program auto exposure mode, the camera already help you determine the optimal exposure. So usually we don't need to go and play around with the exposure compensation. You can see now I use +3 and you see the image is very overexposed. Okay, then if we go to minus, right, so this is -1 f-stop, -2 stop, and -3. So this is underexposed. Okay, so double check, make sure it's 0. Okay, if you want to compensate, you must know what you're doing and then remember to set it back. So hope this video will be helpful to you. Thank you for watching.